Yo, BJ Gador of Men's Health here, and this is the latest episode of the SweatCast. Today I have two large men in my room. That's kind of a loaded statement, isn't it? Jeremy Scott, David Jack, two guys that I respect marginally in fitness. No, they're some of the best people out there. This guy, can we get a close-up of Jeremy's face?
Oh, get a close-up of his shoulders.
Can you take your hat off just so we can see?
Bruce.
If that's not a young tan and Jack Bruce Willis, I don't know what is. You're currently going through a lawsuit right now because I believe Bruce Willis is a little bit intimidated with your rise in the fitness space, and he's worried you're going to transcend into other things.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
I hope you do. John McClane. David Jack is here as well. David Jack, you might recognize him all over the Men's Health website. Basically, one of the first guys to be featured in video. A lot of the success we've had in video is because of the hard work you laid out. Dave Jack was the guy who introduced me to Men's Health. I would not have the job I have today without his leadership, without his support, without his massages, various massages. We're going to keep it clean today. But I mean that, DJ, and everybody at Men's Health knows the trail you blazed, and it means more than you can know. People talk about you all the time. You're just an inspiration. And Jeremy, man, I think what I saw you do. So Jeremy was the advanced model in our latest DVD workout program called MetaShred Extreme. And I mean, Jeremy, you're a machine. Like talk about some of your numbers: pull-ups, dips. An All-American basketball player in college.
Just the lifting stuff like a normal guy. Like I can deadlift 500 for reps, squat 315 for reps, bench 300 pounds, 20 dead hang pull-ups. I can run a mile in 5 minutes, 46 seconds. And I can lunge for an hour. And I'll be honest with you, I wanted to quit the first workout of MetaShred too, honestly. That's how rough it was for me. So it's challenging for pretty much anybody out there.
But there's also beginner, intermediate options. But because you had to do the advanced workout, but then people are like,
I would prefer to do the beginner, but I probably would look bad with Alexia and Hannah doing the harder stuff than me.
People don't realize when you shoot these, you do like at least 3 workouts a day, because we have, it's a shoot schedule. Usually it's 1 week, and if it's a full program, you've got to shoot like 8 to 10 of these or more. So you got to do multiple a day, and like you might get a couple hours between sessions, but. You made a comment. You called your wife, I think, at the end of the day, and you said, "I don't know if I can do this."
I was like, we lift all the time. Like I work out, I love fitness. It's who I am. But I had like anxiety, like when I went home, because the first day, what do we do? Like my mobility and maybe the first workout, the leg one. And I'm like, I call her. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I might quit. I'm not going to. I'm like, but I don't know if I can physically do it for 5 more days. Like that's how mentally it was rough, and then physically it was a challenge.
And you got through it, and just like anything, right?
It changes you.
It changes you, and we all need at points in our life to find out what's inside. And if you're not put against the wall or backed into a corner, you'll never find that. That's what I've always thought is so great about fitness, is that it prepares you for those moments to the best of your ability, right? You can't prepare for every possible outcome or thing that might happen in your life, but when you know mentally, you can go there, and physically, you have the stamina to match the mental fortitude you've built. Almost anything's possible. So let's start. DJ, how you got? I mean, obviously, we got to get both you guys covered today, and talk about your story, how you got involved in fitness, your background, and kind of what your pulse is now. I mean, it's a long story. We're going to probably have you separately for sure at some point, each of you. But people that may not know you, if they've been in a cave for a while, let us know what's up.
Pretty usual, really. Meat helmets. Luge.
Meat helmets. I don't know what that is.
We're punching. It's a reference to an Austin. It's been a long day. So, I mean, long story short, I'll say it like this. I really believe I didn't choose fitness. It was always a part of my life growing up. We all did manual labor in our family, and it was just part of what we did when we were little. Free played a lot, played multiple sports. My cousin introduced me to weight training when I was about 10 or 11 years old. I really looked up to him. So I wound up just mentoring under him, being his training partner, and just found my way into a cellar with the one-click light, the classic like true cellar dweller, basement, the
Dungeons, stuff like chalk
humidifier.
and
Yeah, the
sweat.
humidifier
Yes.
that would fill up like 3 times a day. Awesome, right?
Asbestos.
Yeah, doing overhead presses because we didn't have a bench with like a raised back, so you would sit. If you go to the YouTube live, you can see this is classic. We would do an awesome behind the neck overhead press, by the way. So we'd do a behind the neck press, and then we'd arch in a certain way so that your partner would sit behind you and arch his back just right, so you could like support yourself against your partner.
Wow, that's
Oh
makeshift.
yeah, no, it's classic.
That's like a MacGyver setup.
No, it was awesome. So, I just fell in love with it early. I went to college, played football in college, thought that I was going to maybe do construction with my cousin or do something else. And then I found myself in an elevator in New York City and met a woman who had come down from Boston, brought me into the health and fitness space, met 2 mentors in the Boston area. One was a speed coach and assistant strength coach for the Patriots, this guy Mike Morris. Another one was the assistant athletic trainer and head strength coach for the Boston Red Sox, B.J. Baker. They just started to mentor me in movement and speed and locomotion and strength development. And then I find myself just kind of one day at a time being pulled more into the fitness and wellness space. And I mean, in the end, I just look at it, it's like I really, in so many ways, don't deserve all the opportunities that I've been given. Just been a ton of grace and a ton of great people that have made me better. And it's funny today, as I sit here being in the industry now or the profession now for 20 years, I honestly feel like I know less today than I did 15 years ago.
And I will say, like, Dave Jack is one of the most physically impressive people I've ever met, but you will not get that from him when meeting him because of how humble he is, and also because fitness is way more than about the physical for you. And you've been a global ambassador for Reebok for a long time. You've also been a long-time consultant to the Men's Health brand, the Belly Off program. So, like, you've coached. You're one of the best speakers anyone will ever see.
Thank you.
And it's one of the most motivating people I've ever met in the industry. And so and you've been at it for a long time. Like, people don't know. You're not old at all, but like you look and seem a lot younger than you are, and I would argue maybe the most sexually attractive you've ever been.
Well, thank you.
So
I appreciate that.
Jeremy Scott, intro, story, background. Let us know where you are.
Fitness-wise, played sports my whole life, all the way through college, and I didn't really like to work out like we do now. I just wanted to play ball. That was it. And I really kind of stumbled into it because I probably like the worst. I'm an addictive personality, I'll say that. So if you meet me, everything I do is either 100 over 0, for better or for worse. And college, there was probably a point where I didn't eat a vegetable or probably like take any kind of nutritional supplement for probably 2 years straight. And I just ended up getting like really sick at some point and towards the end of school. And it took for me to kind of hit a rock bottom there physically. To see what eating right and training could do to you, more so the eating than anything else. And so once I did that, the power of it I could see in myself. Long story short, I moved to the Valley here, Scottsdale, and I stumbled on a place. And I'm like, well, I'll just get into fitness. And I had no clients, and I had no money, and I just had this huge warehouse, and that's kind of the start of it.
The wonder of weeding out.
And we barely got you through the door here, man. I mean, the width of the shoulders, every time I see you now, it's like, it's becoming a little bit gross in a good way.
It's a gift and a curse.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yes.
Jeremy Shore calls me White Howard a lot.
Yes.
I get that.
Like Dwight Howard.
I get that.
Yeah.
So, I know I get this a lot. I'm sure you guys do too. Like, how do you guys work out? What do you eat? I mean, for the average guy, what quickly can you outline for them that gets you an idea of what you do? And it's going to be very different between you two, which is interesting. Two physical specimens.
Go ahead, Bruce.
So training-wise, kind of like the easy way to describe it, like a bodybuilding, kind of like metabolic split is what I do for the most part. So the compound movements, I typically do two major body parts a day for the most part. So I'll lift legs at least twice a week typically. Pushing, pulling with it, and then I try to get in as much Metcon stuff as I can. I'm a little bit bigger dude, so anything I do metabolic that crushes me.
Even 5 or 10 minutes, right?
I mean, literally, sometimes we'll do like the assault bike stuff, like, literally like 10, 20, like Tabata style reverse for like 4 minutes, and I can't move. I mean, it's that brutal. So that stuff, and I like to do like any active play stuff I can, so I can get to the track and sprint and run and move, things like that. And then the eating stuff, I come from the fasting world the last probably 8 years. At this point, I eat in probably like a 4 to 6 hour window usually, and I eat 2 meals a day, typically pretty big, proteins and vegetables for the most part, and I'll do like a refeed meal probably 1 or 2 times a week, depending on how chubby I want to get.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get that. So DJ, and it's funny because like I remember one time it was like so. Here I am like doing 2-a-days for mostly during the week, and I'm like, so man, how often do you train? And he's like, I try to get like one good session a week.
It's unbelievable.
Some people have got it, you know what I mean? And but to be fair to you, that was on a foundation of a lot of solid training.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guy that did 315 on bench for 12 reps. I mean, your triceps still to this day, they flap in the wind beautifully. So tell us
lunch
about
guy status is going to be epic for me.
Better believe it.
It's funny. I hear you guys talking. A, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's like you're speaking another language, and B, it's like, man, I got to hire myself a trainer. But all joking aside, it's I'm a completely different animal, and that's the really cool thing. I think what I've come to realize for myself is that fitness is such a broad. It's so broad, and it has so many opportunities inside of it. And I've really looked at it as there's this training silo where if you have something that you're really committed to doing and something that you're really passionate about, and it's a goal, whether it's going to the Olympics or starting on your football team this year or getting to a certain metric on a certain lift that you're passionate about, or running a 5K, whatever that is, or a marathon. Like if you have a training goal, then training is different. Training takes on a completely different meaning and a completely different set of rules. Then I believe there's this working out piece that I want to look better. I want to be strong. I like the gym. I like new weight, new metrics, and breaking new barriers. And I have a goal, and there's things that I want to accomplish. And you have a program around it. And I think that there's that. And then I think that there's this thing that's like activity. And I believe that fitness is mission based, and I believe that activity is human race. And so, because there's so many different exercises and so much activity, there's a universe of movement. It's endless. You know this.
Yep.
And you know this. That why does it have to be any one way for any one individual? I mean, truth leaves clues. So through science and through what we've done for all these years and the people that we've seen things that work, things that are sustainable, things that can get you where you want to go based on your goals. We've also seen things that people have pursued that in the end it never really winds up well for them. It's like it leaves things worse than it found it. And so I've just come to a place in my life where kind of fitness has got to work for me. I think there's a part of me that needs to step up a little bit more, to be honest. I think as a fitness professional and as someone that's what I am and that's what I do, I really feel like there's part of me that says, okay, I've got to be a little bit more serious and I've got to be a little bit more committed to that and value it. If I'm going to teach it to other people, then I got to do it for myself. But I'm a huge fan of exploration. I'm a huge fan of play. I'm a huge fan of just random movement, flow movement, strength movement, total body. So that's where I'm at now. A lot of total body stuff. I will break out specific straight set things on areas that I need to work on exercises that give me the best bang for their buck, but I'm always looking for functional density. I'm always looking for a way that I can either get the most out of something with my time that gives me the most benefit that I respond well to, and or creates the most joy, the most distraction and disconnection from the world around me and the stress and the strain and the struggle and all that crap that I can just leave behind and just flow and be in the moment. So all of that becomes part of my architecture. But I will say, and you hit on it, my last thought would be, growing up, starting at 10 or 11 years old, and then there was a season for me from about 13. So I hit a great window, that post-PHV window. The studies will show that year after those first signs of PHV, that puberty, that's the critical window. And if you can lay down key strength skills then and neurological, neuromuscular skill sets then, you really set a foundation that it's like learning a language when you're 4. You're going to own that language and you're going to speak your primary language or your secondary language without an accent. So I had that window from when I was 10 or 11, but really 13 to 22, where it was 4 to 5 days a week in the gym, and it was all in steel, and it was hard work.
And people also forget too, some people take drugs now, right, as adults to help enhance what they're doing, but that's also a period beyond the neurological development and the skill development where you are basically your body is on drugs in the sense that, it's an anabolic firestorm.
Yeah. And you hit on something right there, and Jeremy being a physique guy, and you having part of that as part of what you guys, and growing up, that was a part of what I really enjoyed, that physique side of it, of course. But I think for young listeners right now, if there's young people listening on this and you're in that 17, 18, 16, 15, 19, 20, you're in that window, man, you don't need, I don't want to like say things I shouldn't say, but you really don't need a lot of the things that you think you might need, whether that's certain foods or certain supplements or certain other things, and you really don't need crazy fitness and all this off-the-wall stuff. Man, trust the basics. Become great at the skills. Be consistent in what you do. Do them right. Get your movements right, and just get in the gym and put in good work and feed yourself with good food. And you have such free-flowing testosterone, like a breeze could blow by a bar on you.
Yeah.
And you're going to grow.
It's amazing, no?
Right?
The number of bad days you have are so few and far in between.
Yeah.
And and so Jeremy, you've got your shirt says 86,400. Tell us about that. I know that's a big part of your whole philosophy.
Just 86,400 is seconds in the day. And when people come into our space and fitness, and we talk about all the pillars, not just the physical stuff, I just think people. Oftentimes the biggest excuse we hear from a lot of people is I don't have time to do stuff, and like either you have the most horrible job ever or the worst time management skills on the planet. So
or both.
Yeah, and we kind of break it down for them in the essence of like, in your life you have time before we're going to make time for. Like if it truly matters to you, you'll do it. Like it really doesn't matter. The simple stuff, like DJ said, when he can fit it in, like I don't really see how difficult it is for someone to wake up 15 minutes earlier or go to bed 15 minutes later just to move. And you can crush yourself if that's the goal in 15 minutes if you need to. So like we try to, part of what we do in our community of people is to restructure their day so fitness works for them and they don't have to have their life revolve around it, but make them understand like it matters. Like movement matters because they matter. And overall, like, not to get super serious, but like let's say 75% of the people who are in nursing homes is because they can't get off the toilet. So basically what that means is they can't do a 3/4 body weight squat. And that's sad. And so like we try to reiterate the importance of time and making time for the stuff that matters.
For quality of life, quality of movement, and DJ, like your big thing, obviously, you've got active prayer and a man of faith, and faith and fitness have a real unique intersection in terms of what you do and how you spread your message. Talk about that, please.
Yeah, I think it's funny. My partners and I with Active Prayer, we started the Activate where fitness professionals come together and we're helping to try to magnify the good in fitness and those that it serves. I think in the beginning we started like, if we are a faith, then that's really important, and we should connect that into how we do fitness and how it makes a difference in people's lives. And there's this statement that says we should always be preaching the gospel and use words whenever necessary. And so in the end, the decision that we made was not to lead and come straight out and have to bang people over the head with faith and religion and all that. It's really to treat people in a certain way and to step into people's life in a way of service where we do it consistently enough and we love people for who they are, not who they're going to become, not who they were yesterday, not who they are right now, and we do our best if we can to step in the gap, serve them with fitness in a way that shows them a different way of just being human, and then hopefully over time, if we do it consistently enough, people will be like, you know what, there's something about those people, there's something about the way they carry themselves, and you know what, they never made me feel less than because I didn't. And for us, we feel like that's one of the greatest ways to combine your faith with who you are and what you do. And our big thing, like especially with kind of the act, is that magnify the good, and it's hard to magnify the good in the world if you don't do you. And that's really what we want to get down, like just be you. Be great at being you. And then the world will see everything that it needs to see. And everything starts to fall in place,
One of the things that left such a huge impression on me, and when you think about it too, it really makes sense, is this whole concept of I dedicate, meaning that all the time you'll do a workout, but before you do it, you'll dedicate it to somebody else, making your whole mission of fitness bigger than you. And I can just tell you this, and Jeremy, I'm sure, can speak to this as well. Initially, you may go into fitness for yourself, and I do think there's a degree of selfishness we all need because we can't give to others in a maximal way unless we max out what we've got first. Mm-hmm. And if we let ourselves slip, they're not going to get us at our best. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to stay in the fitness game for a long time, even if you're not a trainer. But someone consistently with fitness, if it's just about you. It's a lonely journey if the only time you're going into the gym is just for you. And, for both you guys, like talk about what, I know for me personally, and it sounds corny, but I don't miss a workout because I have to make a lot of stuff for Men's Health. And I'm trying to ask them for their best. And how can I do that when I don't ask the best of myself. You know, I never miss a workout because I think about these people. Every time I train, there's an opportunity I can learn something that I can share with somebody else that can help them get better. And because over the course of my career, it's evolved into how can I share as much good stuff as possible to get people better in a safe way as fast as possible. That's what drives me to never miss a session. Can you guys talk about how you found a way to make fitness about more than you, to really make it a not just a lifestyle, but really just like a life's purpose?
Loaded question.
That's a lot.
I'll change that.
From like a selfish standpoint, it's my oxygen. Fitness is like without it, I would struggle. Like I don't know what I would do. Like that would be rough if I didn't have it. But from a standpoint of giving back, like it's what I do for my life. Like, you know, my wife will sometimes talk about like, oh, it's Jeremy Scott Fitness, and it is, but that's who I am. It's like it's everything that I do now. It's ingrained in me. And so these people, they come and they look to me as an example of what we do, and like we show them in fitness. I might bring them in the door, and some of the stuff like we can get them in on exercise or how I look or whatever. But ultimately, we get them in our space. Like that skill set of being active and showing them by example lets us change their lives on a whole different level. And like for me, like that's my legacy. Like that's why I'm here, I guess, is to coach people. If it wasn't fitness, it'd probably be something else. I suck at everything, so I don't really know what it would be, but that just happens to be it. So like I have this gift, and if I don't use it for that, it's just wasted. And that's honestly why I wake up and do it every day.
I catch him when he says that on occasion. I'm going to talk about that, later. But
I bet.
I know. But I think for me, like I'm just so passionate about seeing the best in people, and I know that it's in them, and here's the funny thing. It's like I'm so wired and I'm so excited about helping that for others that I just have for most of my life not really seen the value of it in doing that for myself, feeling selfish, feeling like it was like egotistic, whatever it was. I just was never able to look at it and be like, man, if I'm really at my best and I feel my best and I might be at my best, then I can activate the best in other people and things that I'm passionate about. And what's interesting, like fitness kind of always, it didn't come easy to me, but it's something that I always did from a young age, so I didn't know any different. So it just was. Like fitness just was. And hold on to your hats right now. Like I don't really love fitness. Like I don't. Like it's not my, I could not work out for 2 weeks and it's like, I'm cool, man.
But that's because you still be jacked though.
Like
we wouldn't be.
Yeah. I doubt that.
Fair.
But what I'm saying is like it's always been a little different for me, but now here's what's interesting. Just recently too, as I'm getting older, I am realizing I really am, like you get it intellectually from the studies and from what everyone says and all the research, like what it does and how it helps you and it gives you vitality and all the things that fitness does for you. As I'm getting older, I'm actually really realizing the collateral impact, the collateral damage that not taking care, like my margin is so much smaller now. My threshold is so much smaller. So if I eat something that isn't, I won't even say not healthy, but like processed or like kind of garbage, its impact is real. If I don't take care of myself and move more, its impact is real. So like at this stage in my life, all these years down the road, I'm actually finally really seeing and feeling what I've been talking about all these years, where it's like, man, like I'm aware of that. I feel that. And
I'm glad you touched on that. So one thing I want to go to, you're 44, you're 33, Jay?
Yep.
So DJ's 44. I want to ask you first, Jeremy, how has your training changed from your 20s to your 30s? And then DJ, how has your training changed from 20s to 30s to 40s? Quickly, just to give, and then some insights you can give based on what you're experiencing now and what you've done and how it's impacted the way you move and feel today.
We just used to be a lot of bro stuff, really. I mean, like, well, I'll talk about this very fast. We would make these hybrid programs of everything. So, like, I would, like, watch, like, Jay Cutler lift, and I'm like, all right, I want to be like Cutler. And then I'd see, like, Michael Johnson sprint, and I want to be like him. And then I'd see, like, Michael Jordan. So we would, like, make these horrible programs of every system at once and try to do it. And honestly, outside of that, the biggest thing, the tissue and mobility work is the biggest difference. I would literally walk into the gym, and it would be like, let's say bench day. We do 135 for like 3 reps, and then 225 immediately, and then just up from there. And literally no mobility, no stretching, nothing, like even squatting. Just like we would do, movement prep would be doing lighter weights.
Yeah. And
that's literally it. And that has changed drastically. I do mobility work every day. I do tissue work every day. We go to a person who will work on me just to flush stuff out, because the recovery is significantly. I need more time than I used to because I could just do whatever, play basketball all day, train all day, and I'd be fine. And now it's the struggle is real.
More time to recover, more time to warm up.
Yeah,
right?
and sleeping too. I would say the big thing. I sleep way more and restorative sleep, like better sleep, because I need it. Because back in the day I wouldn't do it, and I could. It affects you, but I could get by on it. Now I feel it almost immediately.
DJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think same thing. You know, it's part of who you're influenced by too. You know, so I think when I was younger, like we trained hard, man, and it was a lot of volume, a lot of sets, a lot of focus. Like we'd work straight body parts. You know, you're talking like
a lot of straight sets, right?
Yeah, dude, you're talking like 20 sets, like for legs, and you know the deal. And
yeah.
You build that threshold, you build that tolerance, and but what saved me back then was the fact that I did multiple sports, that I did manual labor. In all different ways, and that I free played. Like that was my saving grace. That was actually what made me really athletic and really kept me healthy. Really, ironically, the gym was actually. There's a point where it's like the law of diminishing returns. It's like, do I really need that? And what's my collateral expense for what I'm chasing in the gym, right? So then I move into my 20s, and I start to be influenced by guys like Mike and guys like. BJ, and then guys like Jeremy Frisch and other people that I got to train with, and starting bringing in like that long-term athletic development feel and kind of what we would be like concurrent method of training where all the skills stay in, but they're shifted based on what you're after. A lot of flex, a lot of D-flow, you know, a lot of movement, which I love anyway. And that's been the way I've ultimately trained for like the last 15 to 18 years. And I think what changes is just my volume, my intensity, some of the moves, some of the exercises I don't need them anymore. You know, it's not worth the payment. So
the cost in
cost
terms
is
of your
too
joints
high.
recovery, because you had a traumatic knee injury. Like we were talking about this driving over yesterday, and you said you were just starting to feel like you were in your physical prime at 26.
Just starting to enter it. Like I was entering the arena.
And you had a potential tryout with an NFL team, right? The Patriots, right?
Yeah.
And,
my coach was going to try to get me like a walk-on. He's like, I think you can compete, man. He goes, I really think you can compete. And I just shattered I compound fractured my tibia and my fibula and spiral of the ankle, my left leg. And so it's still amazing to me. Like, once again, it is for me the grace of God. Like, I really... My orthoped looked at me. They did emergency surgery on me in New York City. The doctor that took the rod out from my leg in Boston, he was an Olympic doc up in Boston. He would do Olympic athletes, and he said, "These guys did you right." He's like, "You're really lucky you're able to walk without a limp." And when I look back at the fact that I've been able to do metabolic exercise DVDs with Men's Health and shoot these videos that I've done, like there's times when I went onto those sets and I couldn't even bend my knees. I was in such pain. And somehow, some way, like I was able to work through all those things and do those things. And it really taught me a lot about humility. It taught me about letting go of things that just don't serve me. It taught me about being okay with being, like, it really, I'll share this and then let you open another question, but it really dawned on me in like my mid-30s. I was down in Louisville, Kentucky for a IYCA, Elite Fitness Business Summit with our peers, and I went out on my own to this park to do this workout, and I went barefoot in the park, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a ball. It was a beautiful day. The river's right there. I kind of sat down, and I actually had a dedication in my mind. And I sat down, and I kind of just looked around. It wasn't in a longing type of way because I had worked through this for the last 8 years, because movement for me and training for me was like my freedom. And then when I shattered everything and couldn't do all those things, I was like kind of a caged animal. Like I lost part of my identity.
Yeah.
So I had to work through that. But I sat in that park and I looked around and I was like, man, I would have done that. But it wasn't like, it was like, man, this is a really cool place and I could have done all these things. And then it hit me. It's like I just walked I just moved 8,000 to 10,000 steps. And there are millions of people in this world that will never take one. There are millions of people in this world that will never feel the grass under their feet. They'll never feel sand under their feet. They'll never be able to walk with their kids down the street in a piggyback. And I just threw away 10,000 of them, wishing I could do something else when I could be so grateful for what I can do. And it landed for me. And it's like, man, it just starts to shift the way you think.
And then your journey has been finding ways to work with,
Correct.
Not against your body or your situation. And that's the moment like something happens when I tore up my knees and had the 4 surgeries and they said your knees are done. It's like an 80-year-old's cartilage damage.
Yeah.
You think you're done, but the reality is, okay, now this obstacle is going to allow me to unlock a training style that's going to help a lot of people just like me. Everybody's had some pain, right?
You bet.
Pain, it makes you appreciate the gift of movement, and you can have pain-free days, and you try to string together more and more pain-free days. That's when you really have like success. And so I just wanted to touch on that because that's just fascinating how you've managed to just do what you've done with that obstacle, but that obstacle in fact became one of your greatest talents.
And I give you so much credit for what you've done. For the listeners out here, I mean, you see BJ, you see what he does. The amount of work this man has put into what he has studied and what he's tried and what has failed and what has worked and the pain you don't have in your knee anymore, what you've been able to accomplish. Thank you for that's not easy work. That's committing to a craft every day for years. And because you've chosen to do that, like we benefit from that. I think the last thing I'll say, and Jay, you can chime into this, like I've come to a place where it's less about the outcome for me anymore. Like when you're outcome based, I got to bench 225, I got to squat 315, I got to look this way, I got to look that way, and that's all you can think about. All you're going to do is miss each rep along the way. So I've really become more about the process, like chasing quality, not quantity. You know, managing fatigue, not chasing it, as Charles Daly would say. And really stepping into the process, the experience of it, and just immersing in the skill and being in the moment. And it's like tomorrow will take care of itself, you know?
I love it. So let's talk on this because we've whenever we get together, it's nice to share like, you know, cool new workouts or just some challenges and, you know, to get tips from each other. But what is the toughest workout or physical
I already know your answer,
physical
Jeremy.
challenge? Maybe besides
I
that
asked him
DVD
last
experience,
night.
but you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be strength or cardio. It could be a mix. But like where you were tested in a way that you saw God's face. And I have to know, like, is there one that...
Not Metashred.
Not the DVD?
No.
Yeah, maybe not the DVD.
But I asked him that last night at the dinner table. You remember what he said?
Yeah.
He goes, Metashred.
Yeah, I know.
The first workout is terrible. I mean, it was for
In a good way.
the advanced version, yeah, it's great. You'll love it. Kind of.
Yeah. You'll love it if you don't have to do
Hey,
three
you
of
may
them
not
in
like
one
it,
day.
you're going to learn to love it.
Yeah.
Training wise, what do we do recently? We filmed a whole track and field workout series, and we did the whole thing. And the snake drill. I don't know if you guys like.
Yeah,
familiar.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Notre Dame weave.
Yeah.
So you sprint the straights and then jog the
So
sides,
you
right?
sprint the width of the field. You jog. You can do 5 or 10. I think we did 5s, and then we did it in real time. So you sprint the width of the field. Was it 53 or something like that? Jog over 5 yards, which is literally like absolutely nothing, and then you sprint back again and you snake the entire field. Then we went back, and then the other one we did was the gassers for time too. I just think like any of the really high like aerobic stuff is the worst for me. Like I'd much rather go in and say, hey, let's do 500 deadlift for triples. Like that's the easiest thing in the world. I'd rather squat 400 pounds one time than say, hey man, we're gonna load you up with. When we did this the other day, we did 100 pounds for 100 reps. You just can't put the barbell down.
That's
And it
horrible.
took
For
me
squats.
Yeah, it took me 5 minutes 39 seconds, and it's like you have to breathe. You have to stop and breathe because you might just drop dead. I mean,
Interestingly, that's right around your mile time too. Like it's funny when you find like these tasks.
Oh yeah, it's almost the same.
Yeah.
Second for second. Yeah, it was brutal. Like that was rough. And honestly, yeah, I'll say that too. Like I ran a mile the other day because my buddy posted a time of 5:39 or like 5:37 like that, and I'm like I can beat that for sure, even though I outweigh him by like 60 pounds. I need to throw it in there.
Yes,
And,
sir.
I did it. Like 5 minutes, like 46 seconds.
It's unreal.
And literally, I had like nothing left. Like I'm like pushing the last 200, and my legs are just
Not there.
they're jello. But it's like when I got done, it was even worse. I mean, I literally just sat and laid on the track for like 15 straight minutes and did not move. Like I wanted to, not die, but close to that.
Fat man cardio, man. Cardio for guys over 200 pounds.
It's not. We're not meant for that.
No.
We just aren't.
But it's a great challenge. DJ.
We were talking about this last night, and one of the things I did with my friend Jeremy Frisch, who we tried this. And the thing of it is, I think whenever you try to do something that's not in your wheelhouse, whenever you try to do something that you really haven't trained for, you haven't built a progression up to, but we have enough of a base to explore those things without having a lot of risk. But whenever you get into those places, you're going to be in trouble. So I hadn't done like bodyweight volume in a while, so we just decided we were going to do a 20-to-1 bodyweight squat lunge as fast as we could and be explosive on the concentric. So coming up, like really try to come up and control down full range of motion. So it's 20 bodyweight squats, 20 walking lunges, so 20 on each leg, 19 bodyweight squats, 19 walking lunges on each leg, so 38 to 1. Took like 12, 13 minutes, and it was like holy mackerel. Like, and so I couldn't walk for like 4 days.
And the best part is like at 16.
Oh no,
that's
dark,
when you knew
deep,
like
deep.
it was.
No, I knew I was in. No, when I got halfway into 18, I knew I was in a deep place. And
hello, darkness, my old friend.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, embrace it.
Yeah.
Because, and so the cool thing is that any like smart training, there's a balance between courage and humility. And you need, like, smart training says, no, I'm done. Like, I need to take a break, catch my breath so I can come back and do this right. Not anybody can get tired. Anybody can hurt themselves. Anybody can feel terrible. It's like, but what are you spending in the process? But on that one, it was like, we know we can do this if we want to do this. So, and had another guy with me that's super competitive. That was one. We ran the Harvard Stadium, so it's got like 2-foot steps that you sit on, going up, 37 of them, and then little ones coming down. We went with this guy, Doug Kalenda, who's just an absolute animal, beyond a 1%er. It was 95 degrees. It had just rained that morning. He does it on purpose. He called us out in the middle of the day in Boston, and we went and we ran Harvard as fast as we could. For 10 minutes, I was literally on like 3rd Ave, bro. I didn't even know where I was. It was like shock. The last one in Phoenix, this was one of the last ones where I was in I was like, well, sometimes I'll just take a number or like a distance, and it's like, I just got to go. And it might be an hour. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I did this thing that I call Heartbreak Hill, and we took a sled, like a poor man's sled, like a pallet. I loaded it up with 4 45-pound plates. It's on a hill. The hill's about maybe 70 feet long. It's not crazy, but it's a good hill. You're on a hill. And it was 112 out, and I went out in the middle of the day just because. But I knew I was ready and I was smart. And what it was four rounds. So whatever way you want to do it. Forward sled drag up the hill, backward, sideways, sideways. So that's it. But how it goes is you drag it all the way up, you pick up one plate, you run it down the hill, you run up, you grab the second plate, run it down the hill, run up, unload the sled, then carry the pallet down, then you get right into your next drag. So in that heat, it took me about 20 minutes, and it was like within the first minute and a half, I knew. But I didn't stop. It was like the goal is keep moving, be smart, but keep moving until you finish this and put a time up.
I got to share 3 too, and then touch
Please.
on. So one is, and 2 of them happened in the last year. One was an EMOM, every minute on the minute protocol, 100-pound dumbbell, 10 goblet squats every minute on the minute for 30 minutes. The last 10 minutes,
I remember you talking.
Total red zone. I have not repeated, and most of these, like I'll never do them again. But it's I know when I have to.
There.
Occasionally, I can go there. And the other one we were talking to is like 5 sets of 10 barbell back squats with 2 minutes of rest in between. It has to be 2, not 1, because 1 is going to result in a load it's lighter than you can handle. And the last, it's basically like at 5 reps in, you're done, but you can get 5 more singles.
One at a time.
You're just stringing 1 at a time.
Brutal.
And I haven't back squatted since, that was like 6 months ago or so. But the other one is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, car push. Someone's in the past, someone's driving in neutral, just steering. And just you push as far as you can for 20, and then you get a 10-second stand, breathe, walk behind the car and do that 4 minutes.
My favorite.
And so it's just so funny how like they can be extensive or exhaustive, like 30 minutes or more, or even sometimes like 5 minutes or less.
Awful.
You might even have more of a shock to the system.
Yep.
But you can go there when you have
And
to.
a lot of CrossFitters like that. A lot of the WODs that they do, they're less than 5 minutes, but because they have so much capacity, and it's every little bit of your nervous system, every muscle's on, nothing can hide.
Yes.
It's all out. That's why you said rest 2 minutes. And when you have a base, you're able to put more energy, more effort, more contraction. You're able to impose your will on that time, and it will take you all the way to the edge.
Yes. In the better shape, this is what like a true principle in fitness, the better shape you get in, believe it's kind of counterintuitive, the more you can get out of a shorter period of time, right? Because you have an intensity capacity where you can push to the level like that most people can't. It takes them, they need a longer workout because they just can't put forth enough intensity to get a result. So that's always cool to look at. Jeremy, great shoulders, some shoulder development tips. I know the guys, and even gals, are wondering how you manage to basically look like a T-bone.
I mean, the normal stuff. Like honestly, I think honestly, playing sports your whole life, I think that it has a huge foundation of everything you do. And it's like playing basketball, shooting, day after day after day after day. But I grew up on the bro stuff. I mean, so when we would start to load, it was all old school bodybuilding stuff. So overhead pressing, typically heavy loads, and then all the accessory stuff too. We do it like the normal lateral flies, front flies, like simple stuff. But I would say anybody out there, like if you're looking to like put on like slabs of muscle, especially like on like the shoulder girdle, anytime you press weight over your head that you can control, whether it's, and the load doesn't got to be crazy either. I think time under tension is a huge thing in terms of just building musculature. Like most people don't focus on, they just focus on like pushing the load, which it's almost, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but like if the muscle, that's when people change. Like when you see someone, like I think I don't look normal, and like my wife would say that. When I take my shirt off, like I don't look like other people because like we train differently. Like time under
Photoshop.
Yeah, like you train time under tension so much, like that's what will change you, as opposed to I can press this amount of weight, but really how much work is the muscle doing when it's there?
And the shoulders are unique in that they've got a really beautiful mix of endurance and strength capacity. So I think most guys, like their sets last 20 seconds or less, and if you want to change, those sets need to be like 40 to 60 seconds or longer. If you truly want to see your body change, you want to really develop some integrity in the joints.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotta go there.
If you get a dude like who comes in, like even we did it today, a guy comes in, a physique guy. I think he's overhead pressing 25-pound dumbbells, which to you guys out there sounds like absolutely nothing. And you put him on like a 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, and you just have him run through it for maybe 4 minutes.
Incomplete rest, beautiful.
He can't do it. I mean, he's just in there crushed, and like that seems so basic and simple. And most people who are 35 years old have never trained that way. Any body part, let alone shoulders.
I just did one pair of 25-pound dumbbells, 20 seconds of seated overhead presses, 10-second overhead holds. We try to go 8 rounds.
It's awful.
2 or 3 rounds in, man, and like, and I in a couple sets, I'd have to come down and hold at just front level to get a little reprieve from the overhead stuff. But like,
there's no relief.
Honestly, man, like, would you agree that anything with your arms overhead is probably the best way? I mean, pull-ups, overhead presses, overhead carries, maybe the best possible way to develop just a crazy shoulder girdle.
100%. Well, and I think core strength too. Like I've never met a person who can do like legit pull-ups who didn't have like some trunk
Great
integrity.
abs.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, every single person, they're strong, like through and through.
You said there was a study that showed that the overhead press resulted in more overall
Peak wattage.
It's just
there's
the whole
so
body.
much. Yeah, it's such a total body exercise. I mean, it's actually loaded from the top down. Everything's
Standing
on.
overhead press.
Standing
Yeah.
overhead press, and it's funny. The core, the quads, the legs, there's nothing that can hide. It's a challenging lift because it requires T-spine mobility, it requires shoulder girdle mobility, it requires, that's one of those lifts where you really want to own the ends to be able to work the middle. So it's a concept where if you can't own the ends and you can't be strong and pain-free and have integrity in the ends of that movement, that's really, for anybody who's listening, like that's the guy. Like don't just go run and do this stuff. These guys have been in it forever and it works for them. Those lifts work. But if you can't stand there and you can't raise your hand up over your head and put your bicep near your ear without your back bowing and feel comfortable about it, then don't just run right into overhead presses. There's other ways to press. You can corner press, you can change the angles, you can do different things. Landmines, you can do different things, but remember that strength movements come after clean movements. So exercise are movements that are loaded. Movements are body weight, range of motion movements where the joint or the arm or the leg or whatever should be able to go where it was designed to go and have integrity there. And I think that's part of what you're showing our readers and part of where you're taking people is, look, get that stuff right, build that foundation, set that stage, earn your fundamental movement patterns, and then you've opened up that universe of movement that you could do whatever you want. We call it skill it, drill it, and thrill it. Build that skill, drill that skill, and then you can have fun with it.
He's rhyming, baby. I love it.
What's up?
Favorite triceps workout exercise? Because you got some. I mean, it's more like an octicep actually than a tricep. And you got a lot of cool, like like the rolling one, that 3-stage dropper.
Yeah. That's when I guess when I was younger, I did a lot of dips. I did weighted dips. I did skull crushers. I did like all that stuff. I did every kind of cable thing you could think of.
Like how heavy weighted dips? Would you do?
I used to get up there. I got heavy. But now I think
heavy?
I don't know. I was telling you guys the other day. I did I did like 2 45-pound plates for sets of 10 to 12, and I think I did 3 plates for like 6 was my best ever.
How much did you weigh at the time? Like 250?
I weighed like 235, 240. Yeah.
That's like fake.
Yeah.
Serious.
So, but I think now for me, like I love it because the time under tension stuff gives me the most bang for my buck. Now I'll do some speed stuff, like low load, low risk speed stuff for that fast twitch because we're losing that. There's so much good that comes from that, and you can still do it as we age. But I think that time under tension stuff that has less collateral damage on my joints, but but really pays dividends in the work. So the triple threat tricep, where it would be like dumbbells, if you guys are watching me at home, or you could use like a curl bar, it would be like you'd pick a weight that you could do, as long as it doesn't bother you, you'd pick a weight you could do like laying down, skull crushers, maybe 8 or 10, but like the 10th is like, and you'd fail if you did another one. Then you would go into an eccentric, so it's a mechanical change. That's what we call it. So you'd go into an eccentric, you'd fight it down for like 3 or 4 seconds, you'd come through, and then you'd press it up, and you do that as many times as you can until you feel like you're going to fail. Then you leave them right here, and you just knock out some floor, like tricep floor presses. 3 sets of that will light you up. The other day, I just took a band, like a single loop band, hooked it up, grabbed it, found my range, and then literally for like 90 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever it is, it was just as many reps as I could do. Rest when I had to rest, go when I had to go.
Tricep push down?
Yeah, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. It's just volume. And as long as you build your base, you just got to touch it every now and then, and you'll keep it.
So, quickly, state of the fitness industry. No, we're going to save that for another episode.
Please.
There's
a lot. Hey, the long and short of it is, there's a lot of great people. There's a lot of good science. There's a lot of great new things that are coming out. There's a lot of the old that has always worked that's coming back. Like the stuff that we've forgotten that will always work. So a lot of that stuff is coming back around. I still think there's an opportunity for us to really identify and discover fitness that works for each of us. Truth leaves clues. So we can rely on that. But your fitness doesn't have to be my fitness, doesn't have to be Jeremy's fitness. It should be yours. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and fitness that includes, we use the physical fitness to actually increase fitness in the other pillars, the mental, the socio-emotional, the spiritual. And spiritual is different for everybody. But I really think that fitness it's so much broader than the physical. And I think that a lot of that stuff, the community that's coming back in fitness, the camaraderie, the blend of what's out there now, having fun with fitness again, playing with our fitness, I think that there's a lot of good on the rise. And I also think that we've got to start with our kids. It's got to be different for kids. And I think we're doing it. I think we're looking at it the wrong way. So I'd love to talk about that.
We will.
The education level has increased, obviously, with social media and the internet. It's pretty amazing the amount of information out there.
Which is good and bad.
Well, and I think we're still starving for knowledge in a lot of that stuff. So I think people do have access to a million different things. And I think at the end of the day, as it progresses as a profession as a whole, I think the top people will be around, and the people who aren't. There's so many people in fitness, but not into fitness.
Or that have been around for more than 5 years. Like when I ever hear someone that's been in this industry for 10 years or more, the level, I don't even care what they do. The level of respect I have for them to be still in it,
because they're about it.
Yeah, because it eats you up. It's a grind.
It's a grind. Yeah, when you have to talk people into, because you mentioned it earlier, I think this is the fundamental challenge we all face in fitness, for people that use it for themselves or people that teach it, coach it, educate it. You invest in what you value. That's it. And when you don't want to change the foods that you eat to feed yourself healthier food that you deserve to live a life worth living, when you don't want to spend $10 to go to a gym on a month to take care of yourself, when you're not willing to give up your Starbucks or whatever it is on a daily basis just to put a little bit more money into better eggs, when you don't value yourself enough to invest in yourself, and though I don't have the time, I don't have this, I don't have the money, you don't have the money to take care of you. And I'm the same way, by the way. That's the fundamental problem that we face. People wait in lines to buy iPhones. They'll wait in lines to spend $600, and then they'll be like, "I'm going to spend $150 a month on this thing, and I got no problem with it, but I can't spend $20 on a DVD. I can't spend $79 on that. No, yeah, you can." And we have to come to a place where we get people to think like, "I'm worth something. I matter."
Love it, man. Where can we find more about you, Jeremy?
All the normal social.
Not normal. Don't listen. Don't look at me when you say that.
Is it BruceWillis.com?
Yeah, diehard.com. No, JeremyScottFitness.com, and then all the social media stuff: Facebook, Jeremy Scott Fitness, Instagram, Jeremy Scott Fitness, Snapchat. We do everything. We're pretty good.
And you got a signature program, 47-day transformation.
Yeah, and that's kind of like our collective of
That's
everything.
awesome.
And I'll say this really fast to people: you can't. People will buy programs as long as you understand it's a great starting point. It's a great something to immerse you into everything, and we work on. Try to get the habit stuff, the basis, to make it be a lifestyle thing for you guys. So we don't just do it for 47 days. We try to give you on a platform so where on day 48, even if you do leave us and you go do something different, you have the base or a skill set you can take with you wherever you go. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. We try to touch all the points of fitness. So it's not just teaching you how to squat. You guys can learn that anywhere. it's like we'll try to speak life into you to make you understand like this matters because your life matters, your kids' lives matter, and everybody around you depends on you, and that's kind of how we try to preach it.
Well, for me, if you just get your typewriter and then you dial up to the internet, when that's done, you type in www.
You can reach Dave via Telegram.
Just send out a light in the sky, and I'll find it. No, just look up David Jack. You'll find me somewhere. I honestly owe a little bit more of a commitment to that. I'm not great at it. I'm just in life, and I got kids and I got other things but I need to focus. But if you type in David Jack, you'll find it. Active Prayer with no E. That's our parent company. Activate is what we're doing as fitness pros to truly try to change the way fitness is serving people. I have a partnership out here with Arizona Grand Resort in Phoenix, and you're always welcome to come knock on my door.
And we'll put in the show notes too the direct links in terms of access these guys' information. I love you guys. I respect you guys. Thank you for what you've done for me personally, for the industry, for men's health, and just keep making a change. And we're going to we get each of you on again solo, and we'll kind of grind on some more stuff. I just want to introduce you guys to our people. Be sure to like, rate, share, subscribe. Help us spread the SweatCast. You can now pre-order the latest men's health program, MetaShred Extreme, at MetaShredExtremeDVD.com. And I think it's time that we go eat some food.
I like that.
I'm getting that little bit of I'm not hangry yet, but I'm
Borderline.
I'm in that hang.
Yeah, I got
I'm right
you.
there, you know?
I can see it in your eyes.
Okay.
I would like to say thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm so grateful to the Men's Health brand. I really believe without them, I probably wouldn't have stuck in the industry as long as I am, because they've given me so many incredible opportunities and projects to work on that they know it, and I'm really grateful. So, and thank you guys for being great coaches.
And I'll say this too, hopefully this makes the show here. I owe BJ a lot for you guys out there. Like, we still, to this day, play workout muse in our facility every single day. So
yes.
they wake up to crank it.
They don't even know what that is.
Crank it.
I mean, literally, but our people in our space do, and he's helped me do a lot of stuff in fitness, whether he knew it or not, even 7-8 years ago. I would just, when I didn't know what I was doing, I would steal all his stuff, and I would use it, and that way, that if people said that I sucked, I could blame it on him anyway. But what he does is a master class, and I think he's the best at what he does. So you guys have, you're the best, everybody.
Thank you, guys. It's time for a quick makeout session.
Let's do it. Let's do that on YouTube Live, though.
That's
exclusively.
Overtime. Yeah, so we'll stick on overtime. We'll do a quick live makeout session, triple kiss. Thank you, guys. Love you guys.